Good morning, everybody. Welcome to my kitchen. Welcome to my channel. Today we're making homemade veggie burgers, and I have dialed this recipe in as my absolute favorite. I've tried a number of different burger recipes with beans and all different things, but this is hands down the best by far. Having everything ready before you start cooking helps speed up the process. I did have all my spices out and most of the ingredients, so that just makes it go that much quicker as well when you're prepared. So the onions, mushrooms, and garlic are going to get sauteed for a little bit first, just to release some of the juices and the volume. I am trying to go as oilless as possible. So when I'm sauteing with mushrooms, I may get away with using nothing because they release a fair amount of liquid in the pan. So it might be enough just to keep things moving. If not, I will put a little bit of water in and saute with water. Now, it doesn't mean I never use oil. I just try to use oil when necessary, and there's some places I still find it necessary. For me, one of my biggest struggles right now is actually making salad dressings that have no oil. So if anybody has any good recipes, please pass them my way. Put a link down below or something. Everyone I've tried, the flavor's great, it just doesn't have the mouthfeel that I really enjoy when I'm having salads. So I'm on the hunt. Just going to cook these down till they're softened a bit. Might even just let them sit here for a little bit and get some heat on them. Okay, so we're almost there. You can see that the mushrooms are starting to look a bit wet. They're browning up. The onions are browning a bit. And I think we're pretty much done. Let some of that liquid cook off. Turn the frying pan off so it doesn't over cook. There's still enough heat there to finish softening them. I want to scrape up some of the flavor from off the bottom. And then we're going to head over to the food processor. It's amazing how much the vegetables reduce. Can't see in the pan. Just going to put this in the food processor. This recipe really is pretty quick to make and fairly simple, and it has a lot of flavor, and really it's the texture that I really like in this recipe. Okay, so I'm actually going to make 2 batches of this, but I'm only going to do 1 batch at a time because I want it all to fit in my food processor and I don't want to overload this. So now that we have this in here, I am going to add half a cup of sunflower seeds. These are raw sunflower seeds. They also give it a really good texture. And then I'm adding 1 cup of rolled oats. I buy these at Costco. They're organic and they're large flakes. And I want 1 cup of those. So you can see where it would have been pretty full if I tried to double this batch in this food processor. I don't know where I'd be without a food processor. So now I'm adding 1.5 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. Now, nutritional yeast, you're going to read conflicting information. Some people say to get non-fortified, but I also like the fact that the fortified has B12 in it, which is something that when you're not eating meat, you kind of want to keep an eye on. So do you. And honestly, it's not like I eat a bucket of it. It's a couple tablespoons here and there, so I really don't think it's a big deal either way. I'm going to blend this first before I go any further. That'll be good for this round. And so I've got the nutritional yeast in there, and now I'm adding 1.5 tablespoons of psyllium husk powder. This is another thing that I feel really contributes to the texture and it holds it together. And it gives it good fiber, which is another good thing. I now want a tablespoon of tamari or soy sauce. Tamari is good if you are gluten-free because it's not made with any gluten products. 1 tablespoon. Calls for 2 teaspoons of grainy mustard. I don't have grainy mustard, so I'm using Dijon. And I like a little extra, and I'm almost out. So we'll go on my Costco list. I love Dijon. I want 1.5 teaspoons of smoked paprika. As you know, my measurements are always highly accurate. 1 teaspoon of dried parsley. Now it calls for 1/2 teaspoon of cumin. I actually really like cumin, so I'm going to do more than that. Pretty much a full teaspoon. And as you will see, there's no salt added to this, and I don't remember adding any before and feeling like I needed it. So I think with the tamari, that's probably enough. Okay, so I'm going to put this in a bowl very carefully. You don't want to overmix it. You don't want a paste because you want the texture. And I really think the rolled oats that are large flake, the sunflower seeds, and then the mushrooms give it a meaty texture and a meaty flavor or umami. So we have this all in a bowl, and I want to show you the texture that is in there. You can see that it isn't a paste. It does hold together, but there is still texture from the oats, and you can't see them probably, but the sunflower seeds, etc. So now we're going to make patties. I have the oven preheating to 350, and you can make them as big or as small as you like, depending on the size of buns that you use. I don't like them too thick. I like them rather thin. And if your hands are sticky, just wet them with a little bit of water. And you're just going to put them on your baking tray, and you bake them at 350 for, I think, 15 minutes. Then you flip them and bake them for another 15 minutes. So then in half an hour, they're done. That I did not leave it for 15 minutes the second time. I only did 10. So I did first side for 15 minutes, the second side for 10, only because, maybe because I make them thinner than they do. Oven temperatures could be different. I don't know. I just felt I would rather have them a little bit underdone because I'm going to reheat them than have them too dry. So, and honestly, they reheat well. I reheat mine in the air fryer. So you get between 4 to 6 burgers out of a batch. And as you can see, they're good sized burgers. Okay, so I've got 5 to go in, and I will show you when they're done. So a couple key points. One of the reasons I'm doing 2 batches is because one of the most dangerous times for me when I'm trying to eat whole food plant-based is to get caught with nothing prepared. So this recipe, as I said, is one of my favorites. I'm compiling a list of my go-to top-notch recipes that I actually like and enjoy. So far I've got this one, and I finally found a whole food plant-based oil-free mayo recipe that I love. So I will make that and show you the next time I need to make some. And I have this burger recipe. And there's a few others actually. So I've got some more videos to make, clearly. Anyway, back to my point. Meal prep is just as important since I started this way of eating as it was before. And if you watched any of my other videos, you know that I like to cook extra and have leftovers, and I like to get meal prep done during the weekend so that I have stuff for the week. And it's the same now with doing this. In fact, it's probably even more crucial for me eating this way, because then I'm not grabbing something that I don't want to be eating. So I'm making extra. When you got the mess and stuff anyway, you might as well make more and put it away for later. This is a simple and a quick recipe. Other than chopping these few vegetables, there's not a lot that you have to do. And I could, if I wanted, use onion powder and garlic powder probably to replace at least the garlic. The onion, I think, is again a texture thing that it contributes besides just flavor. So I probably wouldn't replace that, but if I wanted, I could just throw a bunch of garlic powder in. Okay guys, so here they are out of the oven. They are looking golden brown. Now you'll see how thick I like them. I don't like them too thick. And I have my next batch ready to go in. I do want to say that this is not my recipe. This is a recipe I found, as are most of my recipes. I am putting these on a rack to cool just because I don't want them to get soggy on the bottom. Just hope you enjoy them. If you try them, let me know.